Hey guys, welcome into today's video for another round of speed reviews for the products that I tested for the month of May. In these videos, I do cutaways to show you guys what everything looks like applied, or as much of it as I can get onto my face. I also tell you guys what I think is a purchase, what I think is a pass, and then the stuff that I think is makeup graveyard. I have 27 different products here, not as many as I have tested in the past. I have a mix of new releases and just new to me products, you guys. So without further ado, let's get into the speed reviews. Let's start off with primer. The first primer that I tested for the month of May was the Secure the Sweat Dry Till Dawn Primer from One Size. I have to say, I was expecting that this would do more. I was expecting this would perform for me the way that I feel the mattifying setting spray works. That stuff I have locked down face paint for like over 24 hours. I was expecting this would really control my oils. I really didn't see the results I was hoping for. If you guys do not know, I do have combo skin. It is very humid here in Florida. You're going to sweat or just get wet outside naturally, no matter whether or not you have dry skin, oily skin, combo skin, normal skin, anything in the spring and summer weather in Florida, you're probably gonna produce some sort of moisture. So I was hoping that this would just keep me dry and maybe even mattify the foundation a little bit, even if it reset itself after getting dewy. It doesn't do enough for me. Again, the way that the setting spray works for me. I honestly think that's makeup graveyard for me. I will probably hold on to it for reference or keep trying it as it gets warmer. I just so far have not had like any success with that primer. All right, let's move on to eye products, you guys. I don't put eyeshadows in these videos, but I do test a bunch of single products, and none of these are new releases. The first ones that I have are from Kiko Milano. These are the Lasting Mousse eyeshadows. I have two shades, 06, which is almost like a turquoisey teal and it's shifty. And then I have 05, which is like a coppery brown color. I was hoping that these were gonna be a dupe to the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize formula because they're moussey and a lot more affordable. I did pick these up on Amazon. I wanna say they were about $14 a piece. They come in nice glass jars. These are not Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize. They go on pretty nicely, but the minute you start blending them, they get patchy and they also dry super fast. The Eyes to Mesmerize from Charlotte, they give you time to blend them in and the edges blend really nicely. While I think these can work, you can make them work, I don't think they're as nice looking as the Charlotte Eyes to Mesmerize, and I also feel like they just dry too quickly. They're just not a super simple formula to work with. I may even declutter these. These just probably aren't the no hassle kind of single eyeshadow products that I like to grab for, so I could see myself decluttering those. The next product that I have is from AF94. It's the Swirled Liquid Marble Eyeshadow in the shade Bewitched. This is actually really, really nice. It's a good liquid shadow. It doesn't crease on me. It gives me time to blend out the edges. It's not overly textured the way that some liquid shadows are. This is almost like a moussey formula. It blends beautifully. You can lay this down and just let it dry without blending it. I've done that before. I really think this is a top-notch product that really performs the way that a quality liquid shadow should. And it lasts all day, so it's got that longevity. I really enjoyed putting this like in the crease, and then I have used this all over and have also really enjoyed it. I think it's a really good product from AF94. But conversely, I do not like this product from About Face, which is also like the more expensive of Halsey's line. This is one of the pigmented loose glitters in Melancholy Sky. I tried one recently from Moira Beauty and I thought I was going to love this one. It comes out glittery. It comes out kind of sparkly when you swatch it. The problem is it's a loose pigment, and so you do have to kind of blend it in with your brush when you get it to your eyes, and the minute you start blending it away, even on my swatch in this cutaway I'm showing you guys, the glitter totally dissipates. It's like the glitter is not infused into the pigment itself. So the glitter sits on top, you start blending, and then it becomes just a solid, loose pigmented shadow. Just not a thing for me. I don't enjoy it. I will end up decluttering this. It might have been a shade thing too, like Melancholy Sky that might happen for, but maybe some of the more glittery shades that wouldn't happen. But because I've only tested this one shade here, it's just, I would not go back to try and repurchase another shade. I will end up decluttering this as well. This is not a new product to me, but this is a brand new shade. I picked this up from Sephora because I'm in love with this formula and have been for a while. It's the KVD Dazzle Stick. This one is in the shade Hail Surge. It says Hail Surge 10. This is such a cool product that not a lot of people talk about. And I think they've done some shade extensions too. This is a lighter shade, but this is a super creamy formula, the kind that you only want to roll out just enough product that you're going to put on your eyes. It's sparkly, it doesn't crease, it's long lasting. I lay this on my eyes directly from the stick and then I blend it out with my finger or pat it out even, or sometimes I even like take a brush to move it inward. You can pick this up with a brush straight from the stick. Again, doesn't crease, long lasting, super sparkly. It's like cooling when it goes on the eye, so it like feels good when you're putting it on. I enjoy this formula. This is my third shade that I've purchased. All right, let's move on to a mascara. I think when I picked up the new Sun Kisser blushes from Maybelline, they threw this in as free with purchase. It's the Falsies Lash Lift Mascara. So they just threw in 2 little mini testers and one mascara I have used before. It was the Maybelline Sky High, so I didn't want to throw it in today's video. But I hadn't tested this formula. I am sad to say I don't really care for this. The wand itself for me is atrocious. It's just a big hourglass shape. I find it very difficult to get close to my lash line with brushes like this. I tend to poke myself, but even if it weren't for the wand style, the formula is clean, it's wispy, it's not overly pigmented. It really gives you a nice wispy lash. If you're into that, it's great, except that it transfers. And when I say it transfers, like let's say I'll lie down or something, it will like wind up underneath my eyes. And for you guys, that might not be a big deal. You might not nap in a mascara. I tend to nap on the weekends in a mascara. I do it all the time. I've been doing it for years. And there are so many mascaras that never transfer. This one totally transfers. I don't notice it flaking, so that's great, but it definitely gives me the raccoon eyes and I'm just not down with that. Also, I have wispy mascaras in my collection that I think are nicer than this one is. So for me, this is an absolute, I will declutter. I try not to hold on to mascaras that don't give me enough intensity or enough pigmentation, or mostly just like middle of the road, because I like a lot of intense pigmentation and length and volume and all of that good stuff. That one falls right in the middle and then transfers. So it's an out for me. All right, you guys, let's move on to foundations. I only have one that is a new release. I am on the hunt this spring and summer to find the best mattifying, long-lasting foundations for combo oily skin. So I have been buying and testing quite a few, and I've talked about a couple already in my previous speed reviews, but I will be doing an upcoming video talking about and showing you guys the wear test of each one of these, because I have found some really good ones that I'm going to be using this summer. So this is not a new release, but I got it in the hopes that it would be a really nice mattifying foundation. It's the Chanel Ultra Le Pont Ultra Wear All Day Comfort Flawless Finish Foundation. It's kind of a satin matte finish foundation, and I have mine in the shade B10. It is pricey. There are other drugstore foundations on the market that are very beautiful, that do similar things. I really enjoy this product. I don't mind paying extra when a foundation, 1, looks flawless on the skin, and 2, gives me really long day wear. As you guys can see, I put this foundation on and not the other 2 foundations that I'm going to talk about because I feel like it makes my skin look flawless. And B10 also is a beautiful shade match for me. I think it's smoothing. I think it's hydrating. While I think it's a satin matte finish, it's medium buildable coverage. It does have a scent to it, but unlike other Chanel products, I think the scent is very mild comparatively. And also it doesn't linger. I don't notice it on my face for very long after I apply the product. Huge fan of this, you guys. It's definitely going to be one that shows up in that video for matter foundations that are a little bit longer lasting. All right, one that I picked up on a whim, it's the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation. I had this back when I had dry skin and I remember really liking it. So when I was on a family vacation, I hated the foundation that I took with me. So I picked this up when we made a little side trip to Target, and this is awful. This doesn't blend into my skin at all. It also lasts for like 3 hours and then just totally slips off. Also, I don't think it's like that easy to blend. I find that it's like a little bit streaky, if that's even possible. I think with my skin type now, this is not a foundation that's meant for me. I didn't even find it like overly hydrating either. I even felt like it was dry in certain areas. I wasn't a fan of this. Longevity wasn't there, looked a little bit dry, was a little bit streaky. streaky, and yeah, I mean, 2 hours is not enough for me to wear even a hydrating foundation for someone with combo skin. So that's bye. That's just a no. All right, I do have a new release up finally. It's the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Skin Tint. This is in a shade way too dark for me, and it's also very warm. It's in light, but it looks more light medium, and it's also very, very warm. I bought this on Amazon, and Amazon is a terrible place to try and find shades, but I'm pretty sure this is now on Ulta's website. It's also on the Wet n Wild website. So this is supposed to be a hydrating skin tint with 5% niacinamide with up to 24 hours of hydration. I like it. I do like it. I think this reminds me a lot of the Revlon Illuminance foundation, where it's super easy to blend in because it's a super thin formula. It soaks into the skin really nicely and like doesn't just sit on top of it, but it's so thin, it's really susceptible to products that you put underneath it. Because if I wear this on a bare face, nothing on, it gives me a nice radiance. But then if I put this on top of what I wear a lot in the mornings, which is the Paula's Choice tinted sunscreen, which has a mattifying quality about it. It's meant to be a mattifying sunscreen that doesn't leave a white cast. This foundation turns into like a satin finish. And the Revlon Illuminance is exactly the same way, highly susceptible to the products that you put underneath it. And I've been wearing it just like that, with something a little bit more mattifying underneath. Even me having combo skin, I can turn this skin tint into a satin finish, and it gives me really nice longevity. Like, this will last me all day. Like, it's actually really nice. This is a skin tint for someone who's combo that can get away with it, and I think it's beautiful. I'm gonna declutter this one because the shade is too dark for me and I'm tired of making it work every time I test it, but I would definitely pick this up in the fair shade. And I will say I often go for light shades instead of super fair, and this range seems to go pretty dark right out of the gate. Like, fair would be better for me. So if you have a similar skin tone, I would definitely say like try fair before you go light, even if you're used to doing light. Let's move on to concealers, you guys. I only picked up one and it is a new release. It's the new concealer from Refi. I want to say this has like a pretty long name to it, but it's not listed on here. I have mine in the shade 04. I know this to be a brightening concealer, and I also know that this comes in a nice variety of cool undertones, which I feel like are really hard to find. Even when concealers say that they're meant for cool or neutral undertones, a lot of times they end up very warm, where I think this one is actually very, very nicely cool toned. It is a lot drier of a formula than I anticipated it being. It blends easily, and it's a little bit of a tackier formula, but it's not as like hydrating and radiant as I thought that it was going to be based on its name. I will give it that it is extremely brightening, but I don't think that the coverage overall is fabulous. I think it's pretty medium coverage, but I would say because it's so brightening, if you have darker under eyes, I would say go in with a color corrector before you use this, because I feel like the shade itself and the brightening aspect of it actually pronounces some of the blueness under my eyes when I wear it alone. I am wearing it alone today, and I feel like it definitely emphasizes some of the darkness and the blueness under my eyes. So I have worn this with a color corrector, and I think it looks a lot better. Again, I think it's very medium coverage right out of the gate. I think it's a middle of the road concealer. It's not one that I feel like changes my life. I also don't think it's the most long lasting, but I know that I will keep this because I do really like the brightening aspect of this. I think this concealer, unlike a lot of my other ones, really does that while still offering me medium coverage in a very, very cool tone. And I think that's really unique about it. But again, I think the best way to apply this, if you have darker under eyes and you're looking for brightening, is to wear a color corrector first. I have one bronzer for today's video that I tested for the month of May. This is the Say Liquid Bronzer. I want to say this is called the Dew Bronze. Yeah, Dew Bronze. This one is in the shade Salt. I'm going to start off by saying I like it, but I don't like it as a bronzer. This shade in Salt is great for a cool tone, but it is so dark. And I want to say that Salt is the lightest shade that they offer. So in the cutaway, I'm putting this on the way that I would a contour, because it looks way too dark when I apply it how I would a lighter weight serum bronzer, and it doesn't give me any bronzing qualities. It's a great colored contour shade. In fact, it's super similar to the coolness and the deepness of the Charlotte Tilbury contour wand. And I like one dot of this. One dot is all I need. Otherwise, it looks too heavy, too dark on me. I think it blends out great, but I do one section at a time. I do one dot the way I would a contour and blend blend it out, and I think it's beautiful. I do that everywhere. Again, for my forehead, where I typically will put like 2 dots kind of on each side, so 4 total, I will only use 2 dots on this. It's called the Dew Bronze, but I don't think it's overly dewy. In fact, when you stamp it in with a really dense brush, it becomes quite matte. I don't find it luminous at all. However, what I will say is I stored this sitting up, not lying down, actually sitting up in my testing new makeup, and I lifted it and there was a ton of oils that was sitting in the like top part of my testing new makeup bin. And you can even see that the sticker itself, it's leaked oils. So I don't know how Saie manages to do that. Like, it's leaking out of the top and then with the lid on and then seeping all the way to the bottom. Like, what is going on? It's like that one concealer that Saie had that was very, very oily and radiant. And so if you set it like how you would normally store a concealer, it would pool oils into my concealer container, and I hated it. That was like the worst concealer ever. I feel like Saie just makes some super duper oily stuff and they just don't make the packaging like super sturdy. So I started off with I really like it. I like it as a contour. I don't like it as a bronzer. I like 1 dot because I think it's a pretty hefty formula, and I like to blend out one section at a time. And also, store this upright is gonna be my recommendation, because I feel like if you store it like this, oils are gonna leak out of it. So it's actually really nice. This is a product that I have been enjoying. Just a couple of things, you know? Not maybe its intended use, 1, and then 2, I don't like all the oils leaking out. I have one highlighter type product. This is not a new release. I just was in Sephora and swatched it and finally picked it up, although I've had my eye on it for a long time. This is the Illuminator from Iconic London. You guys, when I say liquid metal, liquid gold, that's exactly what this is. This is in the shade Original. They do have, I believe, a deeper shade in this, just like one other shade. This is freaking stunning. Iconic London does some of the best liquid highlighters, powder highlighters. I am in love with the stuff that they do in the highlighting category. I put this down before I put blush down. I always put blush on top of it. It's so freaking beautiful. It lasts all freaking day. It is so light reflecting without being glittery. This is perfection to me. This is such a beautiful ass product. I am so in love with this. Have I said enough? Like, I absolutely love this, and everything about it is 10 out of 10. This nice glass component, the dropper works really well. I use the dropper to apply it to my cheeks. I bounce it in with a damp sponge. I can do it with a brush. 10 out of 10. Highly enjoy this and highly recommend it, you guys. If you like or don't like liquid highlighters, but you like something that looks like just glistening and it plays with every product so well too. Like, it's so well done. All right, guys, let's move on to some blush. I've got some new releases and some not new releases. The first one up is not a new release. This I also picked up at Target on our little run during our family vacay. This was the Fast Base Blush from Makeup Revolution. This one is in the shade Rose. I feel like this product could be good. It's not like fully flesh inside there. It's like loose inside of the component. I don't know what that's about, but it also highly stinks of crayons. Even though it was new, it must have been sitting in Target for a long time. It's a dewy blush. It's a little bit sticky. It doesn't have a really long lasting impact on the cheeks. Like, there just are so many other products on the market for blushes that we didn't need this, is what I think. Like, I wasted whatever this cost. It probably was like $8, $9, $10, something around there. I did not need to spend my money on this. It's just that when I see a new blush, I have to pick it up in hopes that I'm gonna like find my next holy grail. It's just this ain't it. It absolutely stinks. Target should do quality check on some of their products to see like how long this was sitting out. Plus, like, there are so many other longer lasting formula cream products on the market. No Makeup Revolution, bye. I have a new release here. This is the Nude Sticks Nude Screen Blush Tint with SPF 30. I have mine in the shade Sunset Rose. Doesn't this packaging make it seem like it's going to be a cool tone rose shade? And it just comes out like a super warm rose shade, which is, I think, what the name kind of implies, Sunset Rose, but then it doesn't match the packaging. I don't know. That, for whatever reason, irritates me. I guess I'm looking at it going, that's what I think I'm going to get on my cheeks, and it's not. I think it's an okay formula. I have to say, this is my least favorite Nude Sticks product. I like the Nude Sticks Glow Core. I like the Nudies Matte and the matte formula. I just don't love this. It's kind of like a serum-y gel texture. I just never find that it lasts super long. I don't always find that it blends super easily onto the cheeks. I don't know. There are just other formulas on the market that I prefer more than this. It's not like it's terrible. It's just never foolproof. Like, depending upon what applicator I'm using, it can end up looking a little bit patchy, and it like moves around. It just like kind of lifts from where it was. I'm not in love with this formula, I have to say. As like a liquid blush, I think they could do better than this because they do such a good job with cream products. I think this is gonna end up being makeup graveyard. I don't love this. I don't love this. And I'm not even a huge fan of liquid blush to begin with, and so I feel like you have to have a really refined formula in liquid to really get me to want to use it more than just testing it. I like a foolproof liquid blush product, even if it's different. I like the application to be really good, and I also like a little bit of longevity. I didn't find that or those things in this at all. So I don't know, makeup graveyard for me. This is also a new release from NARS. It's the reformulated powder blush. They have now removed talc and probably done other things to the formula. This is in Dolce Vita. It's a beautiful airbrushing powder formula that's really long lasting. It's even a little bit intense, especially in the shade, which is a little bit deeper for me. I probably should have gone a little bit lighter, but it's great. There's nothing wrong with this formula. I find that it blends really easily. It's just good. It's long lasting. They did a really good job on this reformulation. I have tested their old formula a long time ago. I'm sure I had like a mini orgasm shade, which was really nice. Again, I think this is like a little bit too deep for me, so it's a little bit intense, but I think the formula is great. All right, the next one that I have is not a new release, but I have been wanting for so long, you guys. It is the Dior Rouge Blush. This one is in 219. It's the rose, I don't even know. Let me show you guys like the shade name here. It's 219 and it's a rose shimmer blush where it's more like an orangey shimmer shade. I love when shades come peach, but they have like a golden hue to them. I think it's so flattering and so beautiful, and it's just how I love my peachy blushes. I love this, but I hate it at the same time. It lays on top of cream terribly. It will pill up on top of any cream or liquid products that I put it on top of. It only plays well with other powder product. It'll start looking super patchy on a liquid highlighter. It will do it if I use like a liquid or cream contour or bronzer. It does not sit well. It literally creates patches on my cheeks that just will not blend in. It's like lifting up the liquid product. It'll sit great on top of powder. That's the only time that I can use this. It's beautiful shade. It's a pretty long lasting blush. I love Dior. I'm not a fan of the Backstage blushes the way that a lot of people are, but this is a good formula from Dior if you pair it with other powder products. All right, two more new releases. This one is the Polite Pops Powder Blush from Polite Society. This one is in the shade Sydney. This is cool, and it's also really well performing. It's like a creamy powder. Like, they call it a powder blush stick, but I think it starts out like a soft cream and it dries down to a powder. This applies perfectly on the cheeks. It's not too pigmented. It's a really buildable formula. It doesn't disturb anything, even if you take this more dense stick and apply it straight onto the cheeks and blend it out. You can also pick it up with a brush and still stipple it into the cheeks. Again, very buildable. I feel like it has nice longevity. It never looks patchy. It's super even. It's also cute. Everything about this is good. And the shade in Sydney, really nice cool tone mauve shade. Also, I'm thoroughly enjoying this product. This excited me. This is a kind of new blush release where it's so easy and so foolproof and looks so good and buildable on the cheeks that it gets a 10 out of 10 because it checks every single box. And it's not one of those where I'm like, I'm gonna use this product this way because that's the way that it works best. It works every time and every way I use it. Same thing with the next one. This is one of the new what do they call this? Dewy Bar from Kaja. This one is in the shade Fig Smoothie. This is a dewy but slightly dewy blush. Like, it's not overly dewy. It dries down. It's more buildable. It applies evenly on top of powder, on top of other liquid products, on top of a cream contour, a cream, bronzer, everything. It's like the slightest amount of radiance that just looks glossy, but it's not sticky. It almost completely dries down. Again, it lasts all day. This is another one of those pretty nice cool tone true mauve shades too. This is another one that got me super duper excited. These last two blushes are my favorite of the ones that I tested for the month of May. Just very exciting. Like, look at this. Like, buildable, beautiful. 10 out of 10, you guys. Highly recommend that. Even if you guys aren't into like dewy or luminous blushes, look at how no texture. Like, it's actually a really solid formula. All right, you guys, we are at the final here. These are all the lip products that I tested for the month of May. I have a weakness for lip products, just like I do blush. Like, I can't help myself. Like, I have so many good formulas in my collection and I still feel like I need to test so many more. I get weak in the knees, honestly, for new lip products. And I love a sparkly lip gloss as well. So that's the reason I picked these up. These are called the Diamond Shimmer High Shine Glosses from Queen Cosmetics. I picked up 2 shades. I got Astral Projection, which I feel like Nikki Tutorials talked about and made go viral. And then I also picked up Divine Aura. These are super tacky without being sticky. Like, they're not sticky on the lips, but they're really, really tacky. They will lock down. They're a thicker formula too. They are very sparkly and only slightly gritty. Like, you definitely can feel these when they're on the lips, but they're not bothersome. But I don't love them by themselves. They're just a little bit extra frosty because they are a densely packed sparkle. I like the pink one in Divine Aura by itself a little bit more, but the Astral Projection, I highly recommend putting this on top of a matte lip product. I am showing you guys it by itself, and then I'm also showing you what it looks like on top of a matte lip product, and it's so much more flattering because these are so dense, like in terms of sparkle, that they do emphasize lip lines. And so if you have like a powdery matte base down, I feel like they're so much more flattering. I don't love these all on their own, but they are intensely long lasting. They last a really long time. They do not fade quickly because they're that really tackier formula. Again, not sticky, tackier formula where they really lock down. I think that if you guys like a high shimmer gloss, these are cool. These are nice to check out. And some of them are even kind of shifty too. I mean, they're definitely intensely sparkly. Probably the most intensely sparkly ones I have. All right, I do have another new release. This one is from Sephora. This is called the Lacquer Shine lipstick. This one is in 03. I'm not exactly sure what the shade is. 03 is just the number. I'm pretty sure they were trying to dupe like the YSL with the smell of this because it smells just like the candy glaze, like with a little bit more rose to it, but it's very distinctly like a fruity scent, which I only know YSL to have this kind of like tropical fruity scent about it. So I think they were going after them with the scent. What I think this formula is very similar to is the Makeup by Mario Surreal Satin lipsticks. Those are pretty intensely pigmented. This is also nicely intensely pigmented, but this one has more high shine to it. It's like a more intense version of the YSL Candy Glaze is exactly what this is like. The packaging doesn't come anywhere near trying to dupe it at all. It locks down like the Makeup by Mario Surreal Satin lipsticks, like intense pigmentation like that. It locks down. This freaking thing stays shiny and lasts on the lips for like 7 hours. I'm not even kidding, like 7 hours I have made this lipstick last, and it's not that expensive either. And look at the shine. The shine is really, really nice. It's a really good formula overall. I thoroughly enjoy that. I would definitely get more shades of that because I like that formula and its longevity and how comfortable it is on the lips so much. Another new release, this is from Giorgio Armani. This is one of the Prisma glosses. This one is in 04. It's all right. It's like a cross between a gloss and a lip oil. It's more on the thin side and doesn't have like a huge amount of stick to it, so it's not the most long lasting, but it's decently shiny. That about it is nice, but Armani is pricey. And I have formulas like this that come from the drugstore that are really good, that do similar things. I didn't need to spend the money here to get what I get out of this, even though this is nice. And it has no scent to it, which is nice if you guys don't like a scent. It could have been tropical though, I would have liked that. And also I feel like the packaging is just a little bit cheap. This is all like super plastic. And I'm not saying that they needed to like make YSL metal. I don't know, they could have just done this a little bit less cheapy. I think. So it's good. It's just pricey for what it is. I mean, I want to use this up for sure, but it's definitely not a formula that is unique by any means. All right, I do have one lip oil from an indie brand. This is from Artitude Cosmetics. I picked this up with the palette. This is the Just Juicy Hydrating Lip Oil, and this is in Wicked Watermelon. This is a super thin formula. It's your quintessential lip oil. There's no stickiness or super longevity to this, but it's a nice high shine. It also smells deliciously like watermelon, so it's pretty. It's a pretty nice lip oil. When they say lip oil, I mean, they really mean lip oil. It's not some version of this like hybrid gloss slash lip oil that we see out there that looks like somebody else's take on what a lip oil should be. This is what I feel like a lip oil is. So it's actually very nice. I'm enjoying this. All right, I actually have a couple more new releases. I have the Butter Gloss Bling from NYX. This one is in the shade 07, like whatever that is. It's just like a maroony, sparkly shade. This wasn't as intensely pigmented as I thought it was gonna be. Like it's a lot more sheer, it's a lot more buildable, and it is truly buildable. It starts out pretty sheer with one layer. You can build this up and the intensity keeps building. The glitters are fine enough that you don't feel it on one coat, but I feel like if you keep building, you definitely start to feel the sparkles on your lips or the glitter. I like that it's buildable. If you're looking for like a topper, you could totally top this, but if you're looking to wear this on its own, it's also very nice. And it's the same butter gloss formula. There's nothing different about it from its original. It's a very thin formula gloss that is not sticky. It's actually pretty nice. I would definitely consider, if I needed it, okay, getting other shades in this because it's really pretty and it's nicely sparkly too. So if you're looking for an affordable sparkly lip product, this is halfway decent. All right, I have two of the Tower 28 lip jellies, but this one is a new release. This one is, they're called the Shine On Lip Jelly, and this one is in Sesame, and then this one is the collaboration with Way, which is Chill in St. Bart's. This one here just comes with a scent, but it is de-freaking-licious. I don't know what the Chill in St. Bart's is from Way. Was that something that Way put in one of their hair products or something along those lines? Like, I don't know what the Chill in St. Bart is or what the relevance is for the collaboration with Way, but it's a very nice, pleasant smell that doesn't taste like shit. It's also a very, very oily, thin formula. I wouldn't say this is the longest lasting, but it doesn't fade off as quickly as, say, the Artitude Cosmetics, which is a super duper slippy formula. It's nice and high shine. I like this, and Tower 28 isn't too expensive if you're looking for a clear gloss, but you like the experience of getting this deliciously fruity scent. It's really good. But conversely, the other one from Tower 28, the original Shine On Lip Jelly, it's a little bit of a thicker formula, and it's also a little bit stickier too, so it lasts a little bit longer, but it has zero scent to it, other than kind of smelling like makeup. Like, it's not scentless. So I like them both. I would say neither of them are sticky. I would just say that the original formula lasts a little bit longer. It's decently opaque. It's nice. All right, I definitely fell into the hype with this. You guys, it's the Jisoo Honey Infused Lip Oil. This one is in the shade Mango Passion Punch, I'm pretty sure. It's like an orangey shade. I'm hearing like so many controversial things about this product. Like, oh my gosh, $30 for a lip oil. It didn't change my life. Hey, listen, there are a ton of different lip oils on the market. This one fills in my lip lines like nobody's freaking business. I put this on and I feel like my lip lines like completely disappear. I think that that is unique to a lot of different lip oils that I have in my collection. This is just like thick, and honestly, like infusing it with honey is great. Honey is a super hydrating property. That's why they make honey face masks. I would use honey lip masks. You could even make concoctions from home out of honey to smooth your skin naturally. So having a honey infused lip oil, I think, is fantastic. And this absolutely gives me that slippiness of a lip oil, but remains glossy and on the lips longer than 5 seconds, and it just smooths out every lip line. I don't know if I love this shade, but I do hear that some people say like there's some that are like super duper slippy and oily. I don't have that with this. It's like your normal lip oil formula, and I really like it for the fact that it fills in my lip line. So I don't know, I would definitely get more of those, because from my perspective, spending 30 bucks on something like this that is nice but doesn't stand out, like it doesn't do something unique for me, this I could just pass on, you know? Like, I would have rather spent $30 to get another one of these than one of each If that makes any sense to you guys at all, this fills in the lip lines, unlike some of the other like lip oils I have in my collection. Okay, we're down to the very last product. This is another lip product I could not help myself but pick up when I was in stores. This is from Say. This is one of their Glossy Bounce. I think this is just a lip gloss in the shade Dream. I'm pretty sure it's like a lip gloss. Maybe it's a hybrid. It's nice. It's what I've been wearing this entire time filming. I don't think it fills in my lip lines, but I also don't think it fades off super fast. It's nice, but it's a little bit gritty. I don't know what that's about. Like when I rub my lips together, it's a little bit gritty. I don't think it's bad, but I definitely could have passed on this. It looks super intense and it just comes out pretty darn sheer, which is cool. You guys might like that. I was just hoping it would be a little bit more pigmented than this, and the grittiness might bother some of you. Like, it's definitely a little interesting and kind of weird. It's not a bad product. Again, just not my favorite. Doesn't stand out to me. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either, if that makes sense. Anyway, you guys, that was all 27 of the unique products that I tested for the month of May. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and I always love to hear your comments of the stuff that you might have tried, whether or not you agree with some of the stuff that I tried. And as always, if you guys are not currently subscribed, I would love to see you subscribe. I'm out of here, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye, guys.